All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of AGP Quickies. As always, with me, I have my main man, Maximilian, and today we are going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to be covering some games that maybe you're not playing that you should be, and also we're going to cover some news about Star Wars movies not coming out until 2025. So let's jump right into it. Max, I think that you have a game that you've been playing that you think is really great, but maybe isn't getting quite the attention that it should be. What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, that game is going to be Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't think anyone has heard of that game, and I'm just kidding. No, what I've been playing, and I know people have heard of it, but it's still not like a huge game, is Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This game is out on pretty much every platform. It's on Game Pass if you have that. Or if not, feel free to buy it. I think it's a $30 game. Don't quote me on that. Look it up yourself. But it's awesome. Shredder's Revenge. If you remember playing like Turtles in Time or the original Ninja Turtles arcade game, like that's what this is. It's just, and it's like similar graphics too. Like it looks nicer than those games did, but it's definitely more of that like, you know, retro style format. And it's amazing. It is so much fun. So far I've played as Raph. I think that's the only person I've played as. But it's fun. I played the first two levels. Took me probably 2 hours, maybe not even that, honestly. And I had a blast. Again, if you played the original arcade, if you played Turtles in Time, which I played a ton of Turtles in Time. Like my buddy growing up, he had a Super Nintendo, and I didn't have video games really. I think Tyler knows this. Growing up, we didn't really have very many video games in my house till the N64. So I loved going to friends' houses to play games, and that's what we would play at his house. And we'd play the whole game all the way through. Probably did it once a week. And so this is just a nostalgia thrill ride for me. So again, if you have Game Pass, it's like a why not? It's just a download and it's your time. Like I think it's a 400 megabyte game. Like it's small. It's not going to take you long to download. If you got data caps, you're good. It's going to cost you more to stream an episode of Stranger Things. And if you have Game Pass, it's already included. If you don't have Game Pass, I think it's well worth 20 or $30. So yeah, that's the game that I wanted to recommend.
Yeah, I mean, we're dating ourselves a little bit here with the we didn't have anything until N64 came out, right?
You did. I used to love going to your house. We'd play Genesis over there.
Oh
The
yeah, we
Maximum
had Sega
Carnage and the
Genesis.
X-Men game, and
Oh
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. Well, and me and my brothers, man, we were all about Super Street Fighter 2, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those were the days. Those were the days. I mean, I have to say too that like going with that retro look for Shredder's Revenge was the right move. Like, I mean, all
100%.
the art styles I feel like for like Ninja Turtles since like the early 90s, like anything that's come out after that, I'm just like, man, Ninja Turtles looks weird. Like even like the most recent movies,
Oh, they look
Michelangelo just looks.
awful.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what are you doing to my Ninja Turtles? And why
That
are they bulletproof?
the late 80s, 90s style is the best look. And if you didn't know this, Tyler, the game is fully like co-op online. It's also couch co-op too. So I really think it'd be fun to like you and like whoever, like just get like a bunch of guys together. I think you can play up to 5 people at once. Like that'd be so much fun. Just do a gaming night and play some
Five
Shredder's
at
Revenge.
once?
I think it's 5
Casey
at once.
Jones? Is Casey Jones in there?
So you can play as Splinter, you can play as April. You might be able to play as Casey. I can't remember, but
What does April
obviously,
do? Does she like whack people with her microphone or
yes, she
like
does. Yes,
really?
yeah, she does. But
Oh
obviously,
man,
you can play
okay.
as all four turtles. But yeah, you can play more. It might just be 4 players at a time. But there's Splinter and April, and I think Casey. Now I'm not so sure.
I mean, if you got April in there, like you gotta have Casey. Like, why would you not have Casey? Like
He
that would just be
probably
weird.
is, but I'm not. I'm not sure now.
Yeah. Well, in any case, I call Donatello because he is boss. But yeah, man, I'm definitely down to play that. Let's get that going. Bevan, if you're listening, hop on there with us, man.
Yeah. We've got like our Game
um,
Pass crew.
yeah, man, for sure. Uh, so yeah, what I'm playing, I've been playing this for a while, but it just barely got released officially out of beta. It's made by a company called High Res, and they do really really long betas, like open betas. And so I'd been playing it for a couple of years before it even came out of beta. But yeah, it's called Rogue Company, and it's a third-person shooter, which I'm not usually about, like third-person shooters, at least competitively. But this game just works. It's very simple, and I will admit that it does have its share of bugs that they're trying to still get worked out at this point. And some people, are super hyperbolic about it. They're just like, it's unplayable. It's not unplayable. It's a fun game,
It's really
and
fun. I've played it
yeah.
with you. It's free. It's really accessible. I'm not a skilled person at shooters, but I jumped in. I have probably only played it like 2 times. I need to play it more, but I jumped in and was like competitive immediately. Like it's not a super duper hard game.
Yeah,
it's fun.
it's basic enough that if you are a gamer, you can pretty much jump into it and get the basics down really quickly. Um, and it's just something that's like, hey, I got 10-15 minutes. Let's bust out a game of Rogue Company, and yeah, and they did just start. They've had competitive play for a while, but they only had the demolition game type, which is like one life per round type thing. Um, and I don't like that. But they came out with Strikeout as a competitive mode, and so I've been playing some competitive play, and that's been a lot more fun because, as you probably know, Max, the matchmaking when I'm by myself, my teams aren't super good. So
That's fair.
the competitive play makes it so that when you're ranked, like it's a lot better to get more often I get a team that's not just like totally not very
Yeah, I
good.
can't tell you how many texts I've gotten from Tyler where he sends me like a screenshot of a leaderboard and it's him with like 40 kills and the next person on his team has like 7 and they lost the match. And he's like,
Yeah.
"My back hurts. I can only do so much, Max. I can only do so much."
Oh, it drives me nuts in those situations. Yeah. And then how there's like those toxic people on your team that are just like, if you don't pick the character that they want, then they're mad about it. And there was the other day when I picked a sniper, and the guy on my team was like, "Man, why don't you pick a character that can do more for our team than the sniper?" And I was just like, what are you talking about? I literally have more kills and more damage than the rest of everyone on the team combined. What are you talking about? Look at the scoreboard. What are you talking about?
Pull your weight, man.
Yeah,
Pull
like
your weight.
yeah, but you see that everywhere. The point is, it's a really fun game. There's lots of different characters. It does have like, when it's free to play, it does have like a rotation of certain characters that are free for like that week or whatever. A lot of them are typically the same every week, but they do switch up sometimes.
Yeah, do you
Um,
feel like it's fair to say that it has Overwatch-ish vibes? And I just mean that in the sense of like you've got like a squad play, you can only pick one character per team. Like I guess and like there's specific abilities for each character that you're playing as, or do you not really agree with that assessment?
I would say that it's pretty minor
Okay.
comparatively to Overwatch. I mean, I can see a little bit, but I mean, basically, um, none of the goals are the same. Like you're not transporting something somewhere.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
it's not nearly like there are like support characters and stuff, but
I
it's
guess
not nearly as
it's a
much. Like you
hero
don't have,
shooter is where the comparison ends. They're both like hero
yeah,
shooters.
yeah, but you don't have to have like a specific like team build where you need a tank and you need this many DPS, and you like
Yeah.
it's not nearly like that. Like so very very different. For the most part, you can just play whatever character you want. There are certain characters that each patch are a little bit more buff than other ones. But just that's just kind of normal. But yeah, I would definitely check it out, guys. It's on pretty much every platform. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch. You can play it on PC, obviously. So yeah, go check that out. Really fun game. Um, and if you have any other suggestions for some maybe underrated games, put them down in the comments. Let people know. But let's jump on over to talking about Star Wars. So we just heard recently, this might be old news to some people, but I just heard it recently that there aren't going to be any Star Wars movies coming out until 2025. Which obviously to us, if you've watched us at all, you know that that's pretty disappointing to us because we're obviously, you can see on our chests that we are big Star Wars fans. So
Yes.
But yeah, Max, do you know anything about it? Do you know why that's happening? Or
I mean, I have my suspicions. I I think it's mismanagement is what it comes down to, but I don't know. It's tough because I'm loving the Star Wars TV for the most part. The stuff we're getting in Mando has been so fun. Seeing Luke and Ahsoka. We're getting the Ahsoka series. We've got Andor. We got Obi-Wan that just finished. We got the Bad Batch. We had Clone Wars that was good. We had Boba Fett wasn't ideal, but there were a couple of high points there. But I've been enjoying the Star Wars TV, and so that's good. But there's nothing quite like a movie,
right.
And the last one we got was 2019. And there's a wait sometimes, but ever since Disney took over and started making movies, I mean, they were releasing one every single year up until 2019. And so now we're looking at, what is that going to end up being? Is that like 6 years between movies? It's a long time.
Yeah.
Like that's not quite as long as it was between episode 3 and The Force Awakens, but there was also finality when episode 3 was done, and then a buyout, and that's a long time.
It's a really long time. I will say that just to bring some positivity to the discussion, there is an upside in that we have all these characters coming out on TV. And so when there is a movie that comes out, it's going to really make the potential for those characters to come to big screen. And for us to already have like a sense of who these guys are, have that character development pre big screen time. So that can be a positive. But maybe, and then also maybe it's not such a bad thing as in terms of, Disney, get your shit together, it's, like look at the movies that we've had from Disney. Like we've had 7, 8, 9, Solo, and Rogue One. Really, what movies have been good out of that?
Rogue One was great.
Rogue One was great. And this is a little bit of a controversial opinion, I think, but for me, I thought Force Awakens was good. And I know that a lot of people are like, it's exactly like, A New Hope. And it's like, yes, it was. But it did what it was intended to do, I think, where it got fans re-excited about Star Wars. Like people were pumped about Star Wars after episode 7, and they were talking again, and there was like a whole year of fan theories just flooding the internet, like what's gonna happen in the next movie, and it ignited Star Wars again until episode 8 came out, and everybody just went, that was disappointing. Like it's like that sucked. But like the reason why Force Awakens wasn't as good as it could have been, why we look back on it maybe with a little bit more malice than maybe we should, is because it had all this potential and then it just did not capitalize on it in the following episode movies, so but I thought that it was a good start, got people excited again. But really, when you look at it, that's 5 movies. One of them was really good. one of them could have been really good as a new trilogy starter. And then the other ones were just kind of like, like episode 8 was bad. Episode 9 was, unfortunately hindered by episode 8. And then Solo was just kind of,
I like
like it wasn't.
Solo, but it's not a top tier Star Wars movie. It's a
No,
middle of the road.
yeah, I mean, I still like had a good time, but like it wasn't something fans asked for. But fans weren't really asking for a Solo movie, and it wasn't as good, nearly as good as it could have been, especially with certain things in it, like that stupid droid in that movie was so annoying.
Oh, she was annoying.
I was, yeah, like most of the time, like they have, like even in Obi-Wan, they had that droid that never even talked, but you're just like sad when it died. Like it has those death scenes for the droids, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
And in Solo, you're just like, freaking kill her, please. Somebody kill her. Like shoot her. Make sure she's dead after you shoot her, right? Like
yeah, or K2SO is one of the coolest droids ever. Yeah, the droids are usually a highlight.
I mean, look who voiced K2SO. I mean, he's gonna be
for sure,
cool, right?
For sure. And like BB-8, not as cool as R2D2, but I like BB-8. I even liked the one in episode 9. But yeah,
most droids I feel like in Star Wars are fun. Yeah, the one in episode 9, I forget, the little wheelie one. The one that is in Fallen Order, which I'm blanking on right now. BD.
Yeah, BD.
And
BD-1.
and then even the droid who once again never says anything in Battlefront 2. Iden Versio's droid is pretty cool. But yeah, it was, there were certain things about the movie that just flopped bad. But there was a post that I saw recently that was like, what would you want to see from Star Wars that's not currently been announced as like in production, right? Like there's been maybe some like slight rumors about this, but my response was Kira and Maul. I want to see Kira and Maul's story, and that would be like the main good thing that could have come from Solo, right? Like
I would love to see that. I actually would be fine with that being like that playing out in a TV series. Like if Obi-Wan is going to get a season 2, for instance, and maybe we could see Maul and his scene from Rebels play out in live action or something. I mean, could it be cool in a movie or in like a trilogy or whatever? Yes. But I think that Kira and Maul's story playing out in a live action TV series would be pretty rad. And it could exist at the same time as the Obi-Wan series, because that's when that show, when Solo was taking place.
Yeah, no, I would be totally fine with it being a TV series as well. But that would really be the only good thing that would come out of these 5 movies that we've had, out of Solo. But my point being, maybe it's a good thing that they're taking a step back.
Yeah.
But that kind of brings us to our next topic. So this was from Mike Zero. So take this with a grain of salt. But what he was talking about was that Obi-Wan was originally supposed to be a trilogy, but Kathleen Kennedy said, "No, I don't think that Obi-Wan is popular enough to be in a trilogy movie. So we're gonna take down the budget and make it into a TV show." And I don't know. And what do you think about that, Max? Where are we at with that?
I have mixed feelings because the show shocked me. I just love it to death. And so it's tough for me to think that something else would have been better. So like from that perspective, it's like, no, I'm okay with it. But then on the other side of things, it's like, okay, let's look at some of the special effects in Obi-Wan. And they weren't always great. Like as cool as it was to see Vader pull that cruiser down and rip it like half in half, basically, it looked kind of dumb. Like it didn't look the best. Had they had a full movie budget, that would have looked amazing. Or let's talk about the finale, when again the cruiser's trying to escape from the Star Destroyer, and the Star Destroyer somehow isn't able to take down that cruiser. Really, 1,000 TIE fighters could have come out of that freaking Star Destroyer and taken that cruiser down in an instant. But I'm sure that because of movie budgets, like, or because of the TV budget, like, there had to be some limitations. And there's other
Right.
things too. Like, the lightsabers look cool for the most part, but there's a couple of parts, even that, where I'm like, they look like glow sticks rather than lightsabers. Now I can forgive it. It's a TV series, like, and it still looks awesome. The sound effects are great. But so from that perspective, a trilogy of movies would have been really cool too. And would it have followed the
Yeah.
same story? I don't know. It probably would have been different. Probably would have been about as much screen time. Well, I don't know. I mean, it was a 6 hour, it's like a 6 hour show, all said and done. Actually, less. It's probably more like a 5 hour show when you take credits out of the equation. So a trilogy of movies might have actually had a longer runtime than even the show did.
Well, here's what I would think. If they were planning a trilogy, and maybe not, just because the planning has been bad, but if I was planning a trilogy, I would have a general outline of the story.
You would think
beforehand, right? You would think, right? So if they transitioned it to a show, my guess is like it would be like, okay, we need to take this story and maybe elongate it a little bit, and maybe that's why Obi-Wan was not, his super powerful self for so long, because that was supposed to be a shorter amount of time in a movie format, to where he kind of broke his mental barrier and reconnected with the Force, right? So that's kind of my thoughts. Like, if this is what's happening, maybe that's why it was, so long for him to kind of break through that barrier, because they elongated it from a movie format. But I think that they would generally have an outline already. So I think that when they had all the viewers, and then because they really quickly announced, oh, guess what, we're getting season 2, because this had so many viewers. I think that they were like ready with a general outline of what season 2 was going to be. That's how I feel about it. Could be wrong, but I mean,
I hope you're right, because that was the problem with the sequel trilogy, is they didn't really have an outline. They didn't know what they were doing. So hopefully they've learned their lesson.
Hopefully they're learning. But we are talking about Kathleen Kennedy, so maybe we're not learning. But
yeah, the same person who said that there was no source material to pull on like Marvel had.
No,
What?
None. Where would there?
There's not hundreds of books and comics from the Legends. Like, they're not canon.
Mm-mm.
You can pull from them, which luckily they have been. I mean, we've got Thrawn coming in and plenty of other stuff.
Yeah.
So earlier you mentioned, though, the idea. I just want to chime in really quick. I know we're getting long, but I want to chime in really quick, because you had mentioned that you wanted to see Akira and Maul show, and you were talking about, what are we not seeing from Star Wars right now that you'd like to see? Well, Taika Waititi's doing a Star Wars movie, and he's been saying that he thinks we need to move away from the Skywalkers. I completely agree. Completely agree. As cool as it is to see Luke and Anakin and stuff in the TV shows, freaking Old Republic. And that's probably not a surprise if you've listened to me talk about Star Wars ever before. I just want to see Old Republic. I'd even be fine with High Republic. Get us away from the Star Wars like Skywalker timeline altogether. Put us before it, or shoot, throw us 1,000 years after it. I don't care. Get us away from that. Get me something new and fresh, because I think that's why Mando was so successful, where like Solo kind of flopped. Mando's a brand new character. Also, why Boba Fett wasn't as well loved. This is a character that's been known about for years, and the show comes out and he isn't being portrayed the way that people have built him up in their minds for 3 decades. So give us High Republic, give us the Old Republic, give us characters we've never really seen before. That's what I would love to see.
Okay, I can't take credit for this myself, but there was somebody in the comments section. Tell me what you think about this idea. And this is half my idea, half his idea, right? He wanted to see a Thrawn prequel with the Chiss, nobody from the Empire, nobody from the Republic, out there involved, just him with the Chiss and his backstory, right?
I could dig it,
and including like the Skywalkers, who were, navigating and stuff, right? So I'm thinking, how cool would it be to have, like he was saying, have no connection. I'm thinking make some kind of connection. Have it be like Anakin's great great grandpa or something, right, is a kid, and
Whoa.
he
Oh, never
somehow
mind.
gets stranded with the Chiss and then becomes like one of their navigators, one of their Skywalkers, because he's got like a force connection, right?
And that's where the
And
name Skywalker comes from.
that's where the name
And that's where
Skywalker comes from.
Shmi descends from. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an
I mean,
interesting
I
idea.
mean, I mean, I think that would be a cool connection, and it would be small enough to where it's like, this isn't really any characters that we've really talked about or anything.
It could be cool. Here's the trouble. There's already a trilogy of books being written by Timothy Zahn that takes place in the exact time period you're talking about.
I
And
mean,
that's
maybe
canon.
so.
So I
Yeah,
don't.
maybe
I
so.
mean, they could still maybe do it. I just.
I mean,
I
he
started
could
one
just
of
be
them.
somebody who's inserted in there, right? Like he would just be somebody who shows up, and you're like, he's in one episode or something. I just think that would be a cool way to be like, this is how it got it, and then it could relate back to when Thrawn is talking to Anakin about it, just go full circle with it.
Totally.
But anyway, we are totally out of time. We've gone over today. Wasn't as quickie as normal, but that's not such a bad thing, right? Any final thoughts before we go, Max?
No, man, I'm good.
All right, guys, go check out RogueCompany. Check out Shredder's Revenge. And remember, never underestimate the value of a quickie.